lies. I'm not saying that shit for you to sympathize. Spend my whole life trying to find the light that's at the end of the tunnel. I should've realized it was inside. So lately I've been trying to get what's inside outside. So many people want to see my insides outside.
What up? So first off, guys, hey, normally I start with some funky ass dancing with my little videos, but that song just sets the tone for this video. That is a jam. So my life has been revolved around J. Cole, Love Yours, and then Big Sean's released Light. Oh, I just can't. That's everything for me right now. So I haven't been around for a couple of weeks. I've had a lot going on, not an excuse, but I'm back. So I thought I'd give you guys a little video so you can listen to my annoying voice again. I've had a few requests for this video just to give a little bit of background of my journey, particularly over the last 18 months, without going too in depth because I could talk to you for hours and you're not going to stay on my YouTube for that long. So I'm going to kind of give you the key bits. I just want to explain where I was at, what I've been through, where I'm at now, just kind of giving you guys a little bit of insight really as to what's going on with me. So I'm gonna rewind back to around the middle of 2015. So at this point I'm still working with my old job. I was there for 6 years. I worked for an investment company. It was a great job, paid me well. I enjoyed what I did on a whole. Pay was good, benefits were good, all that kind of jazz. I was quite comfortable. I could have easily stayed there for the rest of my life and earned good money, easily. At the same time, mid-2015, I went through a breakup, and I'd been with this person for a long time and they meant a hell of a lot to me. And I'm sure some people can relate to this, that sometimes you just get to a point where it doesn't work for either of you anymore. However much you love that person, it's just not in your best interest to keep trying to make something work that doesn't work. So it was a very hard thing to do, but we went our separate ways. And a couple of months afterwards, I decided I really needed a break because my whole life, as far as I knew it, had done a full 180. I was in a completely different space. So I needed a break. So I was like, where can I go? Why not go to the States? Okay, like I've always had a thing for the States. So I thought, okay, let's go to LA. I just started getting into kind of my fitness and stuff. I had my competition lined up for November that year. So I thought, okay, we're in August. Now's a good time for me to go. At least there's gyms and Cheesecake Factory. Like, I'm gonna be cool. I didn't know anybody. I was going by myself. This is the first time that I'd truly been alone. I'd been on trips by myself where I'd met people out there, as in it was an organised trip, but I just didn't know what I was kind of doing. Let's go for it, let's do this, I just need some time out. So I flew over and met somebody who I knew briefly, and they invited me to someone's birthday party. So I was like, what have I got to lose? Like, let's go. And we went, and I met a few people. Everyone was really nice, and there was this, sorry, it's the only thing when you've got lights, you see dust. So yeah, and that's where I met this girl called Vanessa. When I first met her, wasn't too sure. She seemed quite to the point, but she said she liked to work out. So I thought, okay, cool. It'd be good to spend some girl time out here and see what it's like. So next day I hit her up and I was like, yo, do you want to work out? And she was like, oh yeah, I go to some workout classes if you want to come with. Yeah, I'm down. It's hip hop trampolining class. And literally as soon as I'd spent like 5 minutes with her, I realized that's my girl. Like, we just clicked. So we went to this class and I met this class, and hip hop trampolining, it was something I've never experienced. I thought I was fit until I did this class and realized that I was a failure. I'm joking. It was like crazy. So it's Fitness 365 in Studio City, and the guy Simon, I've never known anyone with energy like it. Like, this class was just insane. Anyway, to my story. So I'm doing this class and I notice this girl at the background, and I'm like, you know what us girls are like, we crush. And I am crushing, like, oh, she's just divine. Anyway, at the end of the class, she comes up and introduces herself to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And she was really lovely, and she invited me and Nessa to go back to hers in the afternoon. She was having one of her friends over for a barbecue, just chill by the pool, like a bit of girl time. So we thought, yeah, we'd be down for that. So we went that afternoon, and literally, like, I've got a picture from that afternoon as my background. This picture, actually. So we're there that afternoon, we're having a barbecue, just really chilling, talking, going in depth, getting quite spiritual, religious, talking about every kind of topic that's deep. And all of a sudden I caught myself, I was laying on the ground listening to Bob Marley, and I realised that that was the first time in what I could remember that I was just completely present. I wasn't worried about what people were thinking of me. I wasn't thinking about what people wanted me to say, what I should say. I just wasn't concerned about people's perceptions of me, which had been ingrained into me from a young age with schools and then with careers. Because I was always quite a bubbly person, people would assume that I was stupid. Or because I was always quite a forgiving and caring person, people would see that as a weakness. And I just didn't understand why people didn't see me. But the reason they never saw me and my intentions was because I didn't have any worth for my own self. And I cared too much about other people's opinions. So anyway, I was lying there, I was like, damn, like, this feels good. And that was the start of my journey. So I go back home, and then I do my competition, and I continue to work, and life's all good. We just go along as usual. And then in May 2016, I took a trip to LA to go and stay with Vanessa. So we stayed tight, and this trip got us even tighter. Every time I see her, like, you know when you just meet a soul sister and you just like, yeah, like, she's my girl, she's my homie. So I went to stay with her for a week, and midway through the week, one of her friends, he got a job to do backing dancing for Selena Gomez, which was amazing. He's going on a world tour. So we thought, okay, that's cool. Let's go and watch him on their opening day in Vegas. Like, that'd be sick. So we drove down with another one of the girls, Kamali, and we stayed and we watched, and it was wicked. And then after that, there was like a official party type thing at Light in Vegas. So I went there and we're dancing, and then all night was just chilled. There was no leching and people getting overly drunk. It was just dancing, talking, having fun. And so there's one guy, we were there for a good 4 or 5 hours, and it wasn't until we came to leave, and the girls were like, you do realise who was sat next to you, don't you? Who I've been talking to for on and off for 4 hours. No. I'm very clueless when it comes to, anybody can name me celebrities and I just don't have a clue. And it was J. Cole. So yeah, so anyway, that was a great experience considering I had no idea who he was. So anyway, that was that part. We're driving home the next day, and they're like, oh, this is J. Cole's song, and it was Love Yours. And I listened to the lyrics and I was just like, damn, like, this is deep. And Vanessa started doing these questions with me, so it was having to think on the spot, that the first thing that came to your mind. So it'd be, what is your biggest strength? What do you like most about yourself? What do you think others like most about you? I was like, damn girl, like, what? I had nothing. I had diddly squat to say. I could tell you what I didn't like about myself. I could tell you my weaknesses. I could tell you what I thought would annoy other people about me. But I could not sit there and tell you all of my qualities. And we all have qualities, let's face it. Like, we weren't put on this earth to do nothing with it. And that really opened my eyes up, because I just remember Vanessa being like, girl, like, you need to sort this out. This isn't healthy. I thought, oh shit, it really isn't, is it? Anyway, carried on the drive. And then we're going from Vegas back to LA, and anybody who's done that drive knows how beautiful the views are. And it was crazy. I know this sounds a little bit cuckoo, but you know when the sun starts coming through the clouds and you've got like all those rays, it literally feels like Jesus is about to descend. And I looked at her and I was just like, it's so beautiful. And again, I had this moment where I was so involved in the present. And I can't explain to you what happened, but I just had the most crazy epiphany. All of a sudden, life seemed to make sense in my head. It was then that I realized that I needed to do something, because I was just settling in life. I was carrying on, just doing things that made me good money, that I was living for the weekend or for holidays. But I didn't truly know myself. I wasn't doing anything for me or my purpose. And it wasn't until maybe a couple of weeks after, in June. Okay, so the girl whose pool I went to when I first went over and had that barbecue, her name was Zelai. So then I come back for the second time, so May last year, and Zulai's brother's in London. He hits me up, he's like, yeah, do you want to meet up for a coffee? So we went for brunch, went for a coffee, and we just got deep. Like the conversation got really deep. Again, very spiritual, and it touched a lot of nerves. I think when you start getting on this certain energy wave, well, they say the universe conspires to help you, and that's exactly what was happening. The people that are coming into my life, the conversations I was having were just leveling up. And he told me about The Alchemist. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about it. If you haven't heard of The Alchemist, buy it now. It is the best book I've ever read, and I've read it like 3 or 4 times since. And so I read The Alchemist, and all of a sudden, again, it was just exactly the right time for me to read it. I started to see that what I was doing in life was not working towards my life purpose. I had a bigger purpose in life. I had bigger potential than just working under some corporate umbrella. Some people that is great for them, and this is not me knocking it. This is just my personal experience. That was not for me. So a couple of weeks after that, I realized I need to do something drastic if I really want to progress forward. And told my parents, and I was like, yeah, I'm handing my notice and I'm then gonna go to LA. My gut just knew it was something that I needed to do. It was for me to develop and to move forward. That's what I had to do, and it's what I did. So I had a little bit of money saved up, and off I went. I went at the end of October last year, and the first 6 weeks I struggled. I really struggled. I had a great time, don't get me wrong, but all of a sudden I was going from this life that was so structured, on from having my whole days mapped out, as in time I was getting up, going to work, lunch, going home, gym, my workouts all mapped out, my foods weighed to the gram, my water weighed to the litre. Everything had gone from being structured to zero structure. Like, I was free, but I was lost. I'd never been in this position before. And it wasn't until someone made a point that, Tori, you just need to learn how to make routine from no routine. And I was like, damn, yeah, I really do. So that's what I did. I started getting up, I started going to the gym. I started to build a structure out of nothing. I'd go for a certain place for breakfast and I'd do brainstorming, and I started to feel like, okay, I'm going along the right lines. And then that's when I did my ankle, and then that's when I bit my tongue, and all of a sudden I was written off. I couldn't train. I couldn't do the vlogs that I planned. And I was back to square one, and I was like, what is this? I realized, no, God's just telling me to sit down and shut up. Don't do things for the sake of things. And that's what I'd started doing, because I was keen on just getting back onto some kind of routine that I didn't actually spend the time to think what that routine should involve. And I did a post on this the other day on Instagram about, it's not about being busy, it's about being productive. It's about doing the right things at the right time. If you need some time to chill out and do you, don't feel guilty for it, but do it with intent, do it with purpose. And all of a sudden, me not having that set routine straight away was okay. I accepted that. I stopped panicking about it and realized that it was part of this process. And then all of a sudden things started clicking into place again. I was reading some books. The conversations I were having were so uplifting, so inspiring, and right on point. It's hard for me to put it into words, but things were just right. Things just started to make sense. And that's when I started to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And gone from having so much money and quite a bit of success to having none of that, but being way happier. Simply because I understood my purpose. I know what I'm working towards now. So basically, this long, rambly message is just take risks. If your heart and your gut is telling you to do something, do it. Really know what it is that's going to make you happy, and you really understand your life purpose, then don't let money be a factor of holding you back. If someone held a gun to your head and said, find me 20 grand by the end of the day, or something terrible is going to happen, you're going to find that 20 grand. So yeah. That's me, that's my ramble. That gives you a little bit of insight into my life. I have got loads more that I need to tell you guys over the next couple of days, so get ready for your YouTube to be bombarded with the Tourmeister. But until then, tapping out.